but you're also giving them £9 billion. What is that money for?
Well, there's been a whole bunch of speculation around the finances,
yeah, that's why
a lot of which I don't recognise.
Okay.
And we're very, very clear that we wanted to conclude this deal to secure the base into the future for our national security. We inherited an unsustainable situation.
Is the money for the base?
Well, we inherited...
It's really straightforward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We inherited, we pay for basing all around the world, and we inherited an unsustainable situation for the base from the previous administration.
In the next few minutes, you're going to witness a political car crash in slow motion. We'll show you how a Labour MP tried to dance around questions about a massive £9 billion payment, leaving viewers more confused than ever. But that's not all. We'll also reveal the bigger picture, how this fumble fits into a pattern of Labour MPs struggling to give straight answers on everything from energy policies to ethical conduct. It's a story that'll make you question everything you hear from politicians. In the world of politics, sometimes a single question can unravel the carefully woven fabric of party messaging. That's exactly what happened when a Labour MP found themselves in the hot seat, facing a barrage of questions about a mysterious £9 billion payment. As the interview unfolded, it became clear that this wasn't just about money. It was about trust, transparency, and the very foundations of Labour's economic credibility. The MPs struggled to provide clear answers, raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. It's one thing to dance around a minor policy detail, but £9 billion, that's not pocket change we're talking about.
Pay for the base? Is that what that money's for?
So
because if you get my point, people might be like, hang on a minute, we're giving them land and we're paying them for the privilege. What's going on?
We pay for basing arrangements around the world, and there are important costs on those, and we're clear as a government that we won't scrimp on our national security, and this base is crucially important to the defence.
So how much money are we giving them then?
Well, the details will be provided in due course of the deal, and we said that we'll provide those details with Parliament in due course. We obviously don't normally, as a routine, comment on the costs of our bases overseas. They entered into negotiations, which they were right to do so. Went through 11 rounds of them over 2 years. They seem to have forgotten this.
The evasive responses echoed through the corridors of power, reminding many of past political figures who found themselves tongue-tied when pressed on financial matters. But what's really at stake here? This isn't just about a single, fumbled interview. The implications of such a massive sum being discussed without clear transparency could send shockwaves through Labour's entire economic platform. It's like trying to build a house of cards in a windstorm. One wrong move, and the whole thing could come tumbling down. Experts are divided on what this means for Labour's future. Some argue that the £9 billion could be justified as a crucial investment in national security. After all, big decisions often come with big price tags. But others see it differently. They're worried that this could be seen as a potential misuse of taxpayer money, a misstep that could haunt Labour for years to come. The ghost of financial mismanagement past looms large over this controversy. Labour's history with economic policies hasn't always been smooth sailing, and this latest episode threatens to reopen old wounds. It's a stark reminder that in politics, the sins of the past are never truly forgotten. They're just waiting for the right moment to resurface. As the story unfolds, the public is left with more questions than answers. How will this affect trust in Labour's ability to manage the nation's finances? Can they recover from this communication blunder, or will it be the first domino to fall in a larger collapse of credibility? As the dust settles on Labour's £9 billion blunder, a disturbing pattern emerges that goes far beyond a single financial misstep. It seems the party of the people has become the party of evasion, with MPs dodging questions left and right like they're playing a high-stakes game of political dodgeball. Take Steve Reid, for instance. When grilled by Kay Burley about accepting hospitality from a company linked to a major water pollution incident, Reid's response was about as clear as muddy water. "I wouldn't have known that," he claimed, apparently oblivious to the connection between Hutchison 3G UK LT and Northumbrian Water. Really, Steve? A government minister, unaware of such a glaring conflict of interest? It's enough to make even the most loyal Labour supporter raise an eyebrow. But Reid isn't alone in this dance of deflection. Anas Sarwar, the Scottish Labour leader, put on quite a show when pressed about the timeline for reducing household energy bills through GB Energy. Instead of concrete answers, Sarwar served up a word salad that left viewers more confused than enlightened. "I think it's important to stress that it's not a case of GB Energy is opened and investment is made in a project, and that means straight away, the day after bills come down," he said, leaving us all wondering if he's running for office or competing in a vagueness contest. And let's not forget Keir Starmer's masterclass in question dodging when asked about the suspension of MP Rupa Hook. When pushed on whether he'd work with Hook again after her controversial remarks about Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng, Starmer opted for the bureaucratic equivalent of, "Look, a squirrel." His response? "It goes through a process. That's the right way to deal with it." Well, that clears everything up, doesn't it? This isn't just about politicians being politicians. It's about a systematic failure in Labour's communication strategy that's eroding public trust faster than a sandcastle at high tide. Recent polls show that voters are growing increasingly frustrated with Labour's lack of transparency and accountability. It turns out that when you treat straight answers like they're radioactive, people start to wonder what you're hiding. The real question is, why? Why are Labour MPs seemingly reading from the same playbook of deflection and obfuscation? Is it a coordinated strategy, or have they simply forgotten how to speak plainly to the people they're meant to represent? Whatever the reason, it's clear that this communication crisis is doing more damage to Labour's credibility than any single policy blunder ever could. As the dust settles on Labour's recent communication blunders, it's clear that the party's credibility has taken a serious hit. The string of evasive answers and fumbled explanations from various MPs has left voters questioning the party's commitment to transparency. But this isn't just a Labour problem, it's a symptom of a wider issue in political discourse. Experts are now calling for a sea change in how we engage with our elected officials. They're urging voters to demand more than just slick soundbites and rehearsed responses. But here's the million-pound question. Are we, the public, ready to step up and hold our representatives' feet to the fire? It's time we started treating political interviews like job interviews for the most important positions in the country. After all, isn't that what they are? So, the next time you see a politician squirming under tough questioning, ask yourself, would you hire them to run your country?